Thank you, Lord. With the bow, baby. In rifle season, Pennsylvania.
I just got my first time with the bow.
Welcome to the Relive the Hunt podcast 007. I'm excited for this podcast. We had Gregg Falk, Tim Billet, Tom Titlow, and myself all together for a roundtable type podcast. We were shooting bow and sitting around the campfire tonight. Decided to jump right into our 2017 preparation, the buck that we will be chasing, and as well as reliving the hunt of Tim Billet's most memorable hunt. It's a nail biter on the ground when he was just a senior in high school, and then Gregg takes us into some of his most memorable moments hunting as well. I hope you guys enjoy it as much as we did doing it, and be sure to leave us a comment and share the videos if you do enjoy listening to these podcasts. Let's jump right into it.
Alright guys, welcome to Relive the Hunt podcast 007 for the third take. And tonight we're going to be talking about our shirts that we just had made. We're going to get into a big buck pool that's been going on for a few years now. That's a really excellent buck pool you guys might want to get into. Also, we're going to be diving into Gregg Falk's season and what he's been doing to get prepared, and also Tim Billet. We are recording outside tonight, and Gregg and Tim are with us, and we're kind of just hanging out, and we're going to talk deer hunting.
Podcast roundtable.
Podcast roundtable 007, third take. So the reason why we're on the third take was Cole and I recorded this podcast 2 times so far, and both times I would have to say that that was my fault. With one, I got kicked off the internet a few times, no audio was recorded. Second time, I had a bunch of programs opened up on my laptop, and audio was just, it was beat. So
Here we are.
Take three, and hopefully this works. We're doing a little bit different style tonight, and let's get into it. So what's going on, Cole?
Yeah, let's do it. My summer is shaping up pretty good. I was working a whole lot. I can't even remember the last time we recorded a podcast. I know it was
3 weeks ago.
When we did the Wynscent giveaway, which we're going to announce the winner of that later at the end of the podcast. And pretty much I've been tracking some buck that I've been following for a few years. One in particular, his name is Blades, who I have gone back and forth with the thought of shooting, and I think it's come down to he is my number one buck this year.
So you're back on Blades?
I'm back on Blades. He's the biggest buck I have to follow. Whether or not he's 3.5 or 4.5 is yet to be determined, but regardless, it's Pennsylvania. He's the biggest, possibly the oldest buck I have to follow. I do know one other 4.5-year-old that I call Peg Leg that Gregg actually had seen on the way to my house one day.
Yeah, I was actually with Tim on the way up for our Tuesday night dinner.
Yep, caught a quick video of him. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. Like Gregg's like, Tim, I think I saw a big buck, and I like slammed on the brakes in the middle of the highway, and we had to like back up, pretty much on the side of the road.
Yep, I had the video camera with, so we got that out and took some footage for Cole.
It was just quick enough as he was running away, and I could tell right away it was him. We named him Peg Leg. He's only got 3.5 legs, and this is the 3rd year I've seen him, so he's 4.5, I'm pretty sure. And he should venture up my way come late October, early November, possibly earlier than that.
He was with another buck. Did you have any like camera pictures or anything like that of him?
One other time this year, I videotaped him and 2 other buck. One was an 8-point, and one was one, I don't know if we call him sidewinder or wind tunnel, or his rack is goofy. The right side of his rack lays over like it got blown by the wind. But this is the 2nd year in a row that's happened. I had pictures of him this past winter, and his rack did the same thing. And I think he's only 2.5 this year. the buck that was with him. And the 8-pointer that's with him too was a little bit younger, so.
You could tell they were a little younger for sure.
You didn't mention Baby Sock at all, and I saw some trout camera photos of him, and I mean,
Baby Sock, actually, we just released that video of him last year.
Yeah, but he looks like a shooter to me.
He's looking good. He's actually, if I had to say, he put on the most out of all the buck we were watching and all the sheds we found bucks to last year. Gregg hunts the property with me.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, a lot of people don't know that you and I actually
Yeah, we do hunt together. So.
And do a lot of, our food plots together on the same piece of property and everything along those lines. But
yeah, so Baby Socks, he's right up there. He's probably a hit lister. I'm gonna target blades, and at the same time, I don't care if any of them slip by me and make it to next year. But
so here's a scenario: you're in your stand, set up
man,
4
here
blades. Baby Sock comes out 20 yards. You shoot him?
if it's early and I'm still hunting blades, and I think I have a good shot at blades, I'm gonna pass him. I passed him last year, which he wasn't really a shooter last year. I found both his sheds. One was a break off. And I just love building that history with the deer. I have no problem with that deer. He's kind of a homebody. I have no problem passing him, whether he gets shot by Gregg or one of the other guys that hunts the property, that's fine, but I'll probably pass him to give myself a shot at blades. And then if I end up eating my tag, I just hope blades made it.
So if you guys would have been listening to the 3 weeks ago of when we tried recording this the first time, Blades
my mindset was totally different.
Blades wasn't going to get shot. He don't know what he's doing this year. Oh my God,
I
I'm
do
all
it
over
every
the place.
year.
So now we're back on Blades.
I do it every year.
100% shooting blades, and by podcast number 8, Cole is not going to want to shoot blades anymore. Just to guys give you the disclaimer of podcast 007.
It's true, I did it with Parker, even though in my heart I knew that's the deer I was hunting that whole year. I'm telling you now, in my heart, I'm hunting blades. He's not going to score that good. He's barely a Pope and Young buck, but he's awesome. He's got killer character. He's at least 3.5. He could be 4.5.
Yeah,
Tim, from the outside looking in, what do you think?
I mean, for real, I think he's 3.5. I mean, he looked 2.5 last year. Just looking by his body, I would say he's 3.5. And I mean, he's special now. I mean, I can't imagine what he would look like next year. So if it was me, I'm telling Cole, hold off on this deer. But I mean, I get it. I'm in the same situation. I have,
all of our shooters last year got killed.
Yeah.
Or disappeared.
Yeah. So I'm sitting in the same boat. I got 2 3.5s. And I'm like, man, I'd really like to see him next year, but at the same time, do I really want to wait? I don't know. So it's gonna come down to me being in the tree stand and how I feel at that moment. Probably is what's gonna happen.
So let's get into your season a little bit, Tim. What are you doing, preparing for the season? You just said you had a couple 3.5-year-olds. Do you have any history with them?
Yeah, so I do have 2 3.5-year-olds. The one, it's tough for me to say that I have any history with. I didn't really even name him just because he just showed up. Actually, I guess I told you guys a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
But the other one, I call him El Chapo Jr. And
that's a nice name.
And he was showing up last year. He's definitely 2.5 last year, and you can tell by these little kickers that he's got on there. He has the same exact ones this year. I mean, there's no doubt that he's the same deer. So those are basically my 2, biggest deer that I've got on camera. And
before we get too far into it, I don't think any of our listeners really know who you guys are.
Yeah.
So let's start with Tim quick, and then go to Gregg. Who are you? Your name. What's your involvement in the industry? Where you live? Where you're from? What do you do?
Sure. I mean, Tim Billet, obviously. And I got into the industry, in 2010, I want to say. I started working at Cabela's, and I've worked there for 6 years. But I would say about, 3 or 4 years into it, I gotta rewind a little bit. I started dating my wife now, Rachel. At the time, I kind of got involved with Cabela's, and her dad was involved with a business called Rough Ridge. So as I was working at Cabela's, about 3 or 4 years into it, her dad really took notice to the fact that I was, I had a huge passion for the outdoors. And he asked me if I would like to get involved, which, I love planting food plots for whitetails, and that's what the business is about. It's rough ridge. If I haven't said that yet.
Seed and minerals.
Yeah, we sell seeds and minerals and deer lure. And when he asked me, I was like, I got to check to see if, there's conflicts of interest and stuff like that. So I got that cleared, and, my manager at the time, he's like, yeah, go ahead. So, I went, pretty much full force into it, and, shortly thereafter, I would say, like 2 years later, I kind of left Cabela's, and that's what I do, I would say, full-time, but not full-time, because I am also a contractor.
Yep.
At the railroad and everything, so, but that's basically how I'm involved with the industry.
And before that, you hunted your whole life?
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Well, I started at the age of 13. I didn't grow up into a family that really hunted that much. My uncle was the only one who did. So I kind of had to ask my dad multiple times to kind of get us involved. And then when my brother turned 12, he's a year younger than me, that's when we started hunting, and I shot my first deer that year at 13. And it was like everybody else's story that loves hunting. I was just hooked right away.
Yeah.
So.
Southeast Pennsylvania, your whole life?
Yeah. Yep, Southeast Pennsylvania, my whole life. And as a matter of fact, I still hunt the same property. And I know like the back of my hand, which is probably one of the reasons why I'm so successful.
Yeah, you've shot a ton of Pope and Young deer.
Yeah.
Mostly with your bow. Your last year was your biggest buck, or maybe your only big buck with a gun.
Yeah, it was. Last year was my first rifle buck. The rest of them were all with a bow.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So last year was your very first rifle buck ever?
No, I shot a like when I was, I can't remember. But anyway, I shot a like little 3-pointer. With my first buck with the rifle, and then I shot another one. None of them were over 100 inches, and that's when I got really, I got into it real hardcore then, and then since then I've been shooting. I won't say Pope and Young, but I mean I've been shooting, trying to top what I did last year. And I would say I have maybe 3 or 4 deer that are over Pope and Young.
Yeah, I know you had a couple of them since I met you probably, I don't know, maybe 5-6 years ago. Yeah. We went to a 3D shoot once. I think it was the first time we ever met.
Yeah, it's true.
With our buddy Dustin.
Yeah.
And yeah, so we'll jump back into how you're preparing for the season. But Gregg Falk is my cousin, and he's with us. And I'd say he's relatively new to archery hunting, but he's 3 years deep now, and
Yeah, 3 years deep
Had
in
quite
archery.
the season
he
last
had a
year.
killer season last year. So Gregg, tell us about yourself.
Well, I'm Gregg Falk. I grew up with Cole in Charlottesville, a little town of Charlottesville. We're blessed to have the property that we do to be able to hunt. And I actually got my start into hunting when I was 12, going up to our family cabin up in Clinton County. Every year I'd go out with my grandfather, my dad, my brother, and whoever else wanted to come to camp. And I think I hunted up there till I was about 14, 15, and from 12 to 15, I think I might have saw 1 deer.
Oh, yeah.
It's hunting the big woods up there. I mean, and I never lost passion for it. I got a little antsy when we would go. I'd get up and walk around and go for hikes and stuff while hunting, and I know, looking back on it now, it's just crazy to think about what you used to do compared to what you do now.
And what a lot of people still probably do.
Yeah, I mean,
there's still a lot of people that go out and just don't see deer.
yeah.
Hunting the big woods is
It's tough.
It's
and
tough.
Especially living here. I mean, you're 3.5 hours away. You can't go up and do the scouting like you really want to do. And that's why now I focus I don't even really go up to camp anymore to hunt. I go up to camp to enjoy our cabin and hang out with family and friends up there. But now I focus all my time and energy down here in Southeast Pennsylvania on our property that Cole and I share. And I also have another little property that I call my honey hole. It's 11 acres, and it's just a little strip that the deer move through. I mean, they don't bed in there, they don't do anything, so it's a
It's like
killer little spot.
Perfect funnel.
Yeah.
When it comes down
It's
to
one of
it.
those spots that you can't really overhunt because you never know what deer is going to be coming through on which day.
Yeah, every day could be a new deer.
Yeah, and so to say you're
Perfect rut
leaving
spot.
scent,
Very
yeah.
good rut spot.
Well, and that's exactly
Which he
how I
proved
shot
last
my
year.
deer last year. Which actually, if we want to get into that big buck pool, I won last year.
Yeah, I guess now's as good a time as any. Yeah, Gregg Falk is the winner of
I am the winner
big
of the
What was
big
your
buck pool.
official score on your buck?
It was 130 and 7/8 was the official score.
just under
score.
31.
Yeah,
Yep.
that Cole gave it. It was
Yeah, think about this for a second. There was over 90 people, I believe,
Yep.
Pennsylvania bow hunters in this buck pool last year, and 130-inch deer won it. And that's not net, that's total
gross.
inches, gross
Yep.
score.
Score.
So, man, if that's telling you anything about Pennsylvania, I don't know. It's tough. So, a 130-inch buck won it, and I think like almost 3 years in a row it's been in the 130s.
Yeah, last year or the year before I won, Barry won with 135.
130, and I think my brother-in-law Ryan won the year before that at 133 or maybe a little bit more.
And this year, I'm probably going to win.
With about 167.
Hopefully.
We didn't tell anyone about that buck yet?
Well, I don't think he showed up on my trail camera.
So
But when
anyway,
he does, you guys will be the first to probably know, I hope.
oh yeah, you'll know. You'll put an arrow through him when he shows up. The buck pool is Pennsylvania bow only buck contest. Payout is 100% to the top 3 spots, and then we do a bunch of other prizes that we got donations for. It is a fun time. We have a party at the end of the year for everyone that joins to come, and you bring your racks, you bring your pictures, you bring your videos, share stories, eat food, free drinks,
50-50 raffles.
50-50 raffles.
We do the playing cards where you pull out a playing
Yep.
card, rip it in half.
So there's chances to win money, chances to win prizes.
You get to meet me.
You can meet Tom, which, I mean, that's worth the $20 in itself.
I'd say.
I mean,
And,
it's a really great time. I mean, you and Jared do an excellent job of putting this together every year. And, it's been fun. We haven't had any sort of cheating at all.
Yeah, we try to, if you shoot a deer, we'd like to see the whole deer. If you can't see the whole deer, we know you, basically we try to cover all angles. And the way social media is these days, it's pretty hard to get away with poaching if you go public with an animal. So we're pretty on top of all that, which is good. It's $20 to enter. Check it out. It's the J&C Big Buck Contest. And it's on Facebook. There's a group you can join. Message me or Jared Bear if you have any questions. And if you want to join, you have to be paid and entered before September 16th. So September 15th is going to be the deadline for this. And if you have any more questions on that, just message us.
I was going to say, just tell everyone, it does include 5C late season.
It includes all archery seasons in Pennsylvania,
Yeah.
including rifle if you hunt with a bow.
Yeah, guys, this is a excellent pool to get involved with. I've been involved with it for the past, I guess, 2.
This will be your 3rd year, I think.
Yeah, this will be my 3rd year. The camaraderie is great. Everybody gets together. Great food, great people. Everybody's telling their stories. You get to see everybody's antlers. It's just a lot of fun. I'm going to get in it every year that I possibly can. I suggest that everybody can do it, make it grow. It'll just be more fun, and a lot of prizes will be handed out, and it's just
There's prizes for kids too, so
Yeah.
mentors and youth kids can definitely get in it, which is awesome. We had a bunch of kids last year shoot deer. That's what we did it for, is just to have fun and to share stories and pictures.
it's for everybody, kids, women, everyone alike, all hunters.
Yeah,
So,
I think our oldest member to shoot a deer last year was like 77
Yeah.
with a compound bow.
Yeah.
You can use crossbows. So that's pretty much it about the contest. Check us out on Facebook and reach out to us if you have any questions on that.
So
But,
since we are Relive the Hunt, we're going to ask Tim to tell us his favorite hunting story that he can.
Ever?
His favorite hunting story.
Favorite
ever.
hunting story
Let's
ever.
relive your favorite.
Okay, I would have to say it would probably be my first good buck with the bow. The story kind of goes like, it was actually October 28th or 31st, I can't remember. But I was just...
Can't remember if it was Halloween.
It's kind of blurring my mind right now. But
It was right around there.
Yeah, I will say that...
If it was Halloween, what were you dressed up as?
I was... Well,
Not a hunter.
yeah.
Wonder Woman.
Yeah. Actually, I was about to drive out to school, and the weather just got like kind of crappy, so I'm like waiting for my get that email that school's canceled or whatever.
Nice, yep.
And my dad called me and said, "Hey Tim, just want to let you know there's a good deer that just went into the hollow. And I'm like, all right, I pretty much made up my mind now. Like, it didn't matter
School's
whether
canceled.
School's
It's
canceled.
definitely canceled.
I'm going in there. And I mean, the weather was pretty bad, like I said. It was real windy. I mean, we had like sleet, snow, and rain coming down.
Ugh.
And I'm like, all right, I'm going in after this thing. So I grabbed like the old Primo's Donut can, which got ruined because it can't get wet. And I grabbed a set of rattling horns or antlers, and I just went right into the hollow. So I'm like walking down this path, and just like real nice and slow, looking for this deer. And I'm sure enough,
you were stalking this deer.
yeah, I was basically
you were on the ground
stalking this deer, and I'm like, okay. Just real carefully just looking, and sure enough I see this massive body deer, and I'm like, that's gotta be him. So like he's like walking up towards me on this path, nose down. He must have been on a trail of a hot doe or something, I don't know. And I'm like, dude, this deer's gonna literally walk right into me. So I hop off the trail, I get behind this real big tree, and I'm like,
how far away was he?
At
when you
this
first
point,
saw him?
At this point, he was probably a good 150 yards away.
So he was a little bit away.
Yeah, and it was, I could see him clear as day at 150 yards through the woods because I was on this path. So, like I said, I got behind this big tree, and this deer is walking right towards me. And I'm like, this is going to be the craziest thing ever. I'm going to shoot this deer at like 5 yards. And just then, as he got closer, I would say about maybe 80 yards, he started like veering away from me a little bit. And in this hollow, there's like a rock wall that, I don't know if it just formed naturally from whatever, or somebody made these to like separate property lines.
Okay,
back
so
in
it's
the
like
day.
a stone wall
Yeah,
that somebody would have put up.
Exactly. So this deer jumps over this, and I'm like, all right, now this is actually not going to happen. And I'm like getting a little worried now. So I see that he's kind of aggressive because he's tearing up this like little bush. Like he's just tearing to shreds. And I'm like, I brought these calls and I was gonna give him a shot. So I took the doe in a can and I flipped it over. And I mean, I did that like 2 or 3 times and nothing. I mean, he couldn't hear it because of the wind. So I was like, all right, screw this thing. I grabbed the antlers and I just rip into him. And I mean, I did it for like 2-3 seconds, and I saw his ears go straight back. His hair just bristled right up. And I'm like, it's game on. He like turned, looked right at me, and he hopped right over that rock wall, walked into 20 yards. And I'm like, now what, you know? So I get behind this big tree. I come to full draw. I sneak out. He nails me right away. I'm like, he nailed me. So I'm just like, all right, I gotta get the shot off. I hit him a little far back.
Was he quartering to you?
He was quartering to me a little bit, and I hit him a little far back. So I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, what's gonna happen?
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, first thing, I just watched him as long as I possibly could. And I'm like, all right, I'm backing out, and I'm gonna get my brother. So I go back up to the the path. I'm like shaking like a leaf. I'm surprised I can even walk at this point.
This is your first.
This is
buck,
my
that big rack buck, something nice.
Yeah, and my first deer with a. I want to say the first deer with a bow. I made a
even
shot in
better.
the.
Oh man.
Yeah, so I'm like, I'm really
on the ground at 20 yards.
Off the ground at 20 yards, and I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
Well, he's just shy of flipping young. So I go get my brother. I'm telling him, dude, I just shot a good deer, and he's like, really? I'm like, yeah. And I called my dad. I told him the same deal. I said I shot the deer that was in the hollow, and I ate breakfast, went back down.
How could you even eat anything?
I had to.
You knew you had to wait?
Yeah, I knew it. I knew it was like I had to wait, and I was like, I need to calm down so I can be at my like top game, tracking the deer.
That's hard to do. Somebody that shoots their first deer, a lot of people would run right after the thing.
How
so good for you to be able to do that.
How long would you typically wait for? And since you have more experience now, and probably I wouldn't say less experience, but it was your first archery kill,
right?
Correct? So how long, in that mind, like what made you think I'm gonna wait this long? I need to back out here. What made you think that? What experience? Where'd you find that from?
I would venture to say. I mean, I growing up, I had nobody to teach me. So I was like, okay, I had to gather all my information from the internet, from magazines. I mean, I subscribed to a ton of them.
Yeah.
North American Hunter,
North American whitetail and stuff like that.
Exactly. I mean, I read those. I just read those like from cover to cover, just trying to gather as much info as possible. And the same, when in doubt, back out. You know what I mean? So I literally did that. And
it's impressive to be able to do that on your first deer. A lot of people wouldn't
even know that, or it would go right out of their mind as soon as they shot.
And looking back now, I would have waited probably 2 or 3 times as long.
Yeah.
But I gave this deer probably 3 hours, 4 hours probably, and I went back in and.
Did you have anyone with you?
Yeah, I had my brother. So I had my brother with me, and we just started tracking this deer, and I found the back part of an arrow, and of the arrow I shot him with, and it was broken off obviously, and I'm like there's no blood on it, and it probably could have been because of the rain and whatever. So there was no blood. So I was like, well, let's just walk down this path and see if he made it out of the hall. We walked down the path, I would say maybe 30 yards, and there he was piled up. And I was like,
no way.
I was a bad shot. I knew it was a bad shot. Matter of fact, when I gutted the deer,
it couldn't have been that bad.
Well, let me tell you, it literally clipped the liver, went into the guts, and lodged in his knee. That was the shot. Wow. And he literally went 30 or 40 yards and piled up.
So it was a good enough angle that it did enough damage in there to just destroy him. Maybe it got that artery inside too.
It could have.
Somewhere in the middle there.
Was he stiff when you found him?
Well, that's going back a little bit now. So I want to say no.
You think he died right away, or do you think he laid down there and it took a while?
I think he laid down. I think the liver is what really did him in quickly. Yeah. But I mean, like I said, looking at it now, my rule of thumb is if I don't watch this deer die, he's getting 4 hours automatic.
Half a day,
yeah,
for sure.
Automatic 4 hours. If I can replay the footage and everything like that.
I'm the same way. I think pretty much we all are now.
Yeah, it took a long time for me to figure that out, but
I kind of grew up with it, so that's how I've always done it. My dad taught me a lot hunting with his brother, my uncles. So I'm more cautious than I probably should be, even on good shots.
Yeah. Like I said, if I don't watch this deer go down, I'm backing out for a while. So,
because if they're dead, they're gonna be dead, and they're gonna be there.
Yeah. So.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's
for
a
your
cool
first
story,
deer.
man. That's
awesome.
awesome.
Yeah, I mean, this deer was. I almost threw up when I picked up its antlers. I knew he's pretty good size, but I didn't know how good until I got up to him. And he was definitely my heaviest. He's not my biggest, antler-wise deer, but he's by far my heaviest. He was so big. I don't know if you guys know this. They actually had to use a mule deer mount to mount this deer.
That's awesome.
Wow.
And when you look at my mounts, he's considerably bigger than the rest of them.
Big body. Did you ever get him aged, or? Nobody really thought about
right
that
at that point.
How old were you?
Geez, I was 18, 17.
Okay.
Something like that. I was still playing. Put it this way, I was 17 because I was playing my high school year of soccer. I was playing soccer.
So your senior year in high school.
Yeah, I was 17 going on 18.
No trail cameras back then.
Nothing like that. Nothing.
Yep.
It was just like, hey, my dad literally said,
saw a good buck going
through there.
So that was a great day of hooky.
Yeah.
Awesome. You skipped school.
Did school actually get canceled?
It did. It did actually get canceled anyway.
There we
Not
go.
that it mattered because that was,
It probably sounds like World War II in the background. There's a baseball game and some fireworks going on.
Yeah, you just heard that.
You might not hear it, but you might. So.
Felt that, I think.
It's pretty loud. It sounds like the first day of rifle in Pennsylvania.
Yes. Welcome to PA.
The sun's not up for about 10 minutes yet, but
this is everybody loading their guns that don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
We're not making fun of anybody there, by the way.
That was a great story. Yeah. Tim, I was.
Yeah, that's
I got
awesome.
into
Oh my
that.
God! I don't think I've never shot a deer on the ground outside of a ground blind.
Really?
That's awesome.
My very first buck was on the ground.
I mean, I'm shaking. I'm sitting here shaking, thinking about this.
Yeah,
that's awesome that would be. The only time I've ever been that close to deer on the ground is walking into tree stands or scouting.
Yeah.
And then I shake like crazy, so I couldn't imagine having a bow in my hand.
Yeah, I don't think at that time I knew really the magnitude of what that was.
Yeah, it's an accomplishment for
right.
sure.
Until I literally started hunting.
This is what he felt like.
Oh man, grand finale there. That was after he found his deer there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I shot 2 deer off the ground. One was a little bit smaller than him, and both of them were smaller than him. But the third time I did it off the ground, it was like, how's this happen? It's like, you hunt so hard out of a tree stand, and you're doing all the right things, and then the last time I shot one off the ground, I was literally scouting for rifle. I was like, okay, it's time to shot for rifle, and boom, it happened.
And you had your bow with you?
Yeah, I had my bow.
Nice.
I sat down for a break, and I'm like,
Technically speaking, you shot your Ohio buck from the ground last year.
I did. That was the second shot.
That's going to be a good story. We'll have to, if we have time, we'll get into that. If not, we'll do it for another podcast.
Yeah, that's probably another podcast.
That's a good story there.
That's a crazy one.
So we're gonna get back into Tim's season preparation for the 2017 season. But before we do that, we're gonna ask Gregg his favorite hunting story, and we're gonna relive one of his hunts. So, what is your favorite hunting story?
Does it have to be one of my hunts?
No, not
just
really.
Relive a hunt what your favorite hunting story.
Your favorite memory hunting, even if you don't shoot a deer.
No, my absolute favorite memory of hunting, and I know that you guys have talked about this on the podcast before, but it's Cole's buck Parker.
I don't know that we've shared the story.
I don't think we have.
No.
Am
So
I
this
allowed
will be
to
kind
share
of cool. Yeah.
Well, all right. So
You're going to get a little taste of Parker.
I'll give my side of Parker, and I'll let Cole tell
This
his
is
side
pretty
of Parker.
cool. I know why you have a connection to it.
By the way, guys, there's going to be some sort of film production of this.
Yeah, stay tuned for Parker footage.
In the next few months, hopefully we'll have something out for you.
But I mean, Cole, can you give me the exact date of this story?
December 5th. It was the first Saturday of rifle season.
That's
2015, so 2 years ago.
And I was actually out at my girlfriend's house at the current time, and I'm sitting inside, and I'm just sitting there thinking, and Cole and I are texting back and forth like we always do when one of us is in the tree stand, just
This
tell
was
me.
my last day to hunt that season.
Yeah.
Because we were all going up to the Poconos.
Oh, yeah, up to the Poconos for Tab's
The next
birthday.
weekend.
Yep.
And I don't hunt late season that often, but yeah, so this was the last day I knew I was going to hunt, and I pretty much just went to sit in a tree.
And like I said, Cole and I were texting like we always do when, I'm asking him what he's seeing, stuff like that. And he was telling me it was a slow morning, he hadn't seen much, and he was actually watching videos on his phone.
I was. Jeff Gordon retired that year, and I was watching, I think, an interview of Jeff Gordon retired, or his speech. Maybe it was his speech because the season was over.
Speech,
it was his farewell speech. It was like a 9-minute video, and I was like sucked into it.
And if I don't remember the time exactly, but it might have been about 8:30 in the morning.
I know the times.
Cole remembers the times exactly, but it was actually it was a little bit later than that. It was around 9 o'clock. I was, I texted Cole and I said, "Hey, I just talked to Parker, and he's on his way up." And Cole writes, "LOL, yeah, good one." Well, needless to say, Cole has.
You said a time. You said he'll be there in 15 minutes.
I said he'll be there in 15 minutes, and that was at about 8:45 maybe, because Cole has a trail cam picture of him at 8:30, and sure enough, this buck shows up with the sun shining on his beams, making him look magnificent in the sunlight. And he walked in and gave Cole the shot, and Cole was able to shoot that deer and kill him. But I mean, just to be able to
all season long for that.
just to be able to send him that text message, out of pure luck that this deer shows up and Cole gets a shot.
I think it was 20 minutes later.
Yeah.
Because I texted you and I said Parker's late.
Yeah, you texted me.
I said Parker's late, and then within minutes,
I get a phone call.
He shows up.
I just put an arrow in Parker. I'm like, no, you didn't. He's like, I swear to God, I did. And it was just like a whole crazy event.
You hunted a lot with me that season too. You filmed me a bunch.
Yep.
I filmed you.
We were filming each other a lot.
We had a good season.
And actually, I should have been in the tree stand with you that day. I just, at that time,
it was late in the season. I was already discouraged. It was rifle season. The deer hadn't shown up for 2 weeks. I didn't know if he was alive.
Yeah.
I remember getting the phone call.
Oh my God.
Parker got an arrow in Parker.
I got an arrow in Parker. The reason I said I got an arrow in him was because I knew the shot was back. And I was actually scared. I'm like, it's rifle season. I was like, this deer leaves my property.
Yeah.
I do not know what's going to happen.
I wanted to leave my cabin so bad to come down here and help. It was a Saturday night when I got the phone call. And, Saturday night in my hunting cabin is party night. We're celebrating
Sunday
all the
you
deer.
can't hunt.
Yeah, we're celebrating the deer that we have killed during that week and whatever. And I get this phone call. I'm like, I'm torn. I want to leave. I want to go help Cole find this deer.
I shot the deer Saturday morning, but I opted
to actually let him go until the next morning.
Mm-hmm.
I could have went in that evening. I didn't want to push him in daylight though, and I could have went in dark. But for whatever reason, I was like, I thought I gut shot him.
You wouldn't have found that deer in the dark, though.
No, we would have went to where he bedded, and then I would have gave up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because what ended up happening with that deer is he died and rolled down a bank.
Pretty steep, way down.
Yeah.
And it would have been hard to see him in the dark. And why would we have? We wouldn't have grid walked that in the dark.
Yeah,
I would have waited until the next morning anyway.
Yeah.
I would have gone to where he bedded the night before, but it wouldn't have helped me. So
And
we waited
needless
till
to
the next day.
say, Cole's shot wasn't bad on that deer.
No, I single lunged him.
Single lung.
His
and,
front leg was back so far that I thought I hit him back farther than I did.
Yeah. And with this story gets even crazier. Somehow Cole's camera shuts off right before the shot goes off.
It's a heartbreaker. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I was self-filming. How? It's like double punching the record button if you're the cameraman, but I was self-filming.
Yeah.
That doesn't make
And
any
you'll
sense.
see it in the video, guys. It's unexplainable almost, although I kind of know what happened because my camera was so tight against the tree between me and drawing back that I think my record button actually hit the bark of the tree and it shut the camera off. I come to full draw, I'll just tell you, because that's awesome that this is Gregg's favorite story, but
Yeah.
I come to full draw and you see my bow lowering down on Parker and he's right there and it's like you are just waiting
For the
for
shot.
the arrow and, well,
Good night.
that was it. The
Literally.
next thing I knew, I
Good
was
night.
like,
Yeah, the camera shut off.
I was freaking out thinking I gotta find this deer.
Greg, your favorite story is not, which is, I like this, that you,
I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
I just
I'm a
love.
little biased, I
Yeah,
guess.
Greg,
I'm flattered that this is his favorite story.
your favorite story, and you had a phenomenal season last year with shooting 2 different bucks, one in Ohio and one in PA, and being the big buck pool winner in PA, won
Doesn't
30.
even win this story.
That's not your favorite story? That
I
kind of
mean-
blows my mind a little bit, but
I had a
it's
great
really
season.
cool that you like Coles.
No doubt about it that I had a great season, and I had some ups and downs in my season because I was actually. You guys all know this. I was actually laid off at the time, so I hunted.
Oh my god, yeah.
I hunted almost every day. I was hunting 3 to 4 days a week for
I think
every
that's your
week.
plan this year too, right?
If I can get laid off from work, yeah.
Get laid off for hunting season.
If I could
Hunt
do
all
that
year.
every year, that would be ideal.
Oh yeah.
But yes, I had an awesome season. I can picture both the buck that I shot. I can tell you
Those are
every
both
detail.
good stories too. So
I can tell you
we'll-
every
we'll get
detail to
back
those
into that.
stories, but just the crazy events that happen. I love stories like that. What's the odds that I text Cole that this
That
buck
was
is
like-
coming?
man,
in
we probably could have
15
done it a
minutes.
million times that season,
Yeah.
but we never did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just for that buck to show up, 20, 25 minutes later, and
It just
Cole to be able to get it done.
I'm a firm believer that things happen for a reason, and that just kind of
Had to
proves it
be.
a little bit,
when I think back on it, I don't even know why I was in the tree that day. I really don't. It was rifle season. It was the first Saturday in rifle season.
Yeah.
I think you text me, and I was like, yeah, definitely go in the tree stand.
I guess I did. Part of me
That might be a lie.
Part of me thinks I did it because it's private property, hunting pressure around the area may push deer. I didn't. Did I hunt there? Yeah, we all hunted there the first day.
Yep.
5 days before that, me, you, and my brother all hunted here.
And we saw deer.
And we saw a pile of deer.
Mhm.
And we just didn't see Parker, so we didn't know if he was alive. I don't know, and I sat long enough. It was probably 2.5, 3 hours in the light.
Yeah.
Some people would give up like that.
Yeah. On
And,
the first Saturday of rifle
rifle
season,
season.
let alone you're carrying
Yeah.
your bow, nothing's happening around you.
I got lucky that the doe and the 2 fawns that were with her, they came, but it was only like 6, 7 minutes before Parker showed up. So I was watching them. Actually, I was filming them when I saw Parker.
were they the first couple deer that you
No,
saw?
I saw 2 smaller buck that morning, I believe. 1 or 2 smaller buck. And I wouldn't have been able to shoot them with a bow, though, the way they went. And if Parker would have done the same thing, I would have just watched him walk off. But he came up
I think because of those doe and fawns. I was videotaping the fawn. I had a half-ass poor man's food plot in. I just like raked an area out, and I actually watered it with my garden hose once that summer, and it was oats, and they were sprouting up a little bit. Believe it or not, the doe and fawns were in it, and Parker walked right through it on the path coming to me. You know, it was really good footage coming up to the shot. I didn't pay Gregg to say this, by the way.
I thought you slipped on a hungy.
Well, I gotta make money somehow.
Yeah. So yeah, that was good. I like that. That was a good story there. So let's get back into how Tim's making out with his 2017.
So yeah,
season.
I mean, 2017. I go into it as kind of, you know, I'm a little upset because my #1 hit lister from last year, I didn't think he was going to get shot, and then I actually thought he made it through rifle season, and boom, I got his pictures sent to me, and he's like, hey, do you know this deer? And I'm like, at first I didn't want to believe it. I mean, I probably sent the picture to Cole probably 3 times, like, Cole, are you sure this is
this the same
is
deer?
this the same deer? Cole's like, yes, Tim.
I'm sorry, man.
Yes, it is. And I'm like, I just am so in denial, but
That's gotta be the same deer, yeah.
yeah, so
That's
you know,
a heartbreaker.
oh yeah, he was a giant 8-pointer. I mean, we were thinking probably
He was
140.
big. He was real
That's
big.
an 8-pointer, which is, you know,
Last year.
past year.
Yeah.
You know,
Here's
so
a situation for you.
He would have been bigger this year.
He was the biggest buck you were hunting last year.
Yeah.
Somebody else shot him. You found that out. You have closure compared to the biggest buck I was hunting last year. Poof.
Yeah.
Vanishes. The first week of rifle was the last picture I ever got of him.
Yeah.
Which situation would you rather be in?
Wow, I mean,
Knowing what happened and having closure, even though it was somebody else that got him,
yeah.
or just not knowing, having that
Wow,
void there?
that is a good question. You know what? I want to say the latter, and here's why. Because I think then you go into the season a little bit more confident. You know, like you have
There's a possibility he's still alive.
Yeah, you have something to look forward to. You know, and those grueling days at the end of the season, you're like, this deer's still out
At
there.
least I did it for a reason.
Yeah. So, you know, yeah, I guess I don't know. It's a hard thing to say, and
I'd have to agree with what you just said because last year my target buck was shot by my uncle.
You're right. Oh yeah.
And
that's right.
and this year I'm
Yeah,
kind of
your
like
mindset's totally different this year.
I'm like I don't even know what I'm doing this year.
Yeah.
I'm going into this season like, oh well, I have to find a new hit lister and like.
And you have really good deer. I mean, you definitely have mature deer.
Oh, absolutely, but like
It's not the same.
it's not the same.
I'm on the
mean-
flip side of it. I think this deer's dead, and we just don't know
Who shot him?
why he died, where he died, who shot him, if somebody has him, or if he's just laying in the woods somewhere dead. Like, I feel like I do so much with cameras and scouting and just following these deer
Yeah.
that I feel like when they disappear,
Yeah.
you know, I've never had a time where they come back and surprise me.
Yeah. So I think that's the way I would see it. We all
Which is
kind of-
good.
Yeah.
There's hope.
Yeah, it's true.
I like that.
I think we all kind of pretty much looking at it now. We all pretty much in the same boat.
We really are.
You know?
Our last year, you have your 1 8-point that you passed.
Yeah, but
He wasn't a
there
shooter
wasn't-
last year.
He was.
Okay, but
He was definitely.
you let him
he
go
was
because you were still
easy
after all spring.
125.8. No, I couldn't get a shot.
The one that ran by you and you found the shed too?
Oh, that one. That one.
No, you're after offspring, that big one.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That
He
big
was
one
a shooter, for sure.
But but the other, I found the shed to he was a tall G2, like crab claw at the points there, looking buck. But I actually found the shed, and I didn't realize I found the shed to him until I think we
Later,
talked about this
yeah.
in the podcast already.
Yep.
Until later, I mean. This is just a small piece of property that I don't run any trail cameras
Gregg's
on.
not in the same boat.
No,
Gregg's got a buck that he thinks is from last year.
Yeah, it's true.
I do, but I only got one picture of him.
This
And now
Mac Daddy?
This
This
is
is
Mac
Mac
Daddy,
Daddy.
aka Roadkill,
Roadkill, the
aka
Beast.
Bloodstain, whatever you want to call him. Because,
We joke with Gregg that this deer got hit by a Mac truck.
Yeah.
Because he just vanished.
He did.
In summertime, he vanished.
yeah, this is over at my little hunting hole. And I actually did a lot of prep work over there this year. I dug out and put in a watering hole. Just because,
There's really no water there.
yeah, I mean, the closest water is probably a half mile away. Which, I mean, for a deer, that's nothing. But it gives them something that if they're on the move and
At
they
least
come
stop
through
by
there,
and stop at.
they might be able to stop at it. And
I love watering holes. My truck bed will tell you that right now.
all the baby pools.
I bought 4 baby pools at a grocery store this week. They were $6 a piece, and they work perfect for deer watering holes.
Yeah,
My son will tell you otherwise. They're all his. But
Yeah. But I put this watering hole in, and I got pictures of 2 decent buck. Well, one's a lot more decent than the other. And I got pictures when we were out in Ohio last year of a big 10-pointer. He had short, tiny little G4s, but huge frame, probably 20 inches inside at least. He was just a big deer, big body as well. And sure enough, I get a picture this year, and it's just the start of a frame. I mean, it was early.
It was pretty early, but it
early
wasn't
July.
that early.
I think it was,
Usually in July, they're
Yeah.
8 points by now.
well,
This deer only had 4.
yeah, he had his brows that were probably 5 or 6 inches.
They were long, big brows.
5 or 6 inches apiece, and you can just tell his frame was going out.
And his beams after his brows went out.
Was he popping G2s?
He had
He
just
might have been
the
just getting
start of popping G2s, but looking at the brows and looking at the pictures of this buck from last year, I sent it to Cole, I sent it to Tim, I sent it to Tom in our little group text that we have going on, and I'm like, who thinks this is the same buck? And almost everyone replied, it could
Good
be the same.
possibility.
Good possibility.
Same
that-
property,
I don't
same
remember
frame.
seeing a picture of the old buck, so. But yeah, I agree. It's the same buck.
But yeah, I have him, and then there's another one out there that I'm calling Side Piece. Not
great
that,
name.
not that he is my side piece. But he has a nice right side. He looks like he's a younger deer, but then his left side is pretty much straight up like a spike point, but has 4 or 5 points coming off of it right now. He kind of reminds me of the buck that we used to call the cluster buck over there.
Yeah, I know
Where-
what you mean.
You know, there was deer inside of a fence, and there was one that had this exact same characteristic, going on. And so, opening day, I'm going in there. Tim's going to be behind the camera for me. And
We
we're going to...
passed a buck last year on opening day, and that deer could still be alive.
That deer could
he
be
comes
alive.
through, He'll be at 140 plus probably.
Yeah, that deer was
He was
nice
a nice,
last year.
solid 8 point last year.
Yeah.
I'm surprised I passed that deer.
Well, a lot of us were.
I think a lot of people were surprised, but
We showed that video. We aired that video, right?
Yeah, Greg's video's on our YouTube channel.
yeah.
Relive the Hunt on YouTube. Subscribe, like our videos,
Like,
comment,
share, whatever you want.
But
hashtag
just-
Relive the Hunt.
last year, I don't know. I was in the mindset that I was going to shoot 120 plus.
That
And
deer probably was 121.
when I first saw that
120 and a
deer,
half, I think.
I just didn't pick up my bow right away. And I said to
It was
myself,
opening morning was the first deer you saw, I
Yeah.
think. First.
well, no, there was a deer that walked up along
that was a decent
along
buck
the tree
too.
line.
The one that walked across the top.
And
That's the one I'm convinced of.
Oh my God, yeah, that could be.
Yeah, it could be.
so,
We'll never know really who that deer was.
but that was actually an awesome story to share with you guys quick of that opening morning. I mean, I sat there in high hopes of seeing lots of deer come through there. It was the first year I got to hunt the spot. And it took till about 8:30 till I saw my first deer.
Which is perfect,
Yeah.
if you ask me.
I mean, it was a perfect morning at the end, but of course I'm sitting there opening morning. I'm getting antsy.
Yeah, you
It's
just wanna see
8:30.
some
I'm
deer.
like, come on, where's there a deer? And then I look up and I see this buck walking probably 70 yards away across the top of the property. And I'm trying to get him on film, and it's pretty far out there, and it's tough. And I catch a glimpse of him passing through the trees. And at this point, I'm standing in hopes that for some reason he comes down so I can see where he is. And I just catch something out of the corner of my eye, and it's a tree shaking. And I look back down the trail, and sure enough, I see this tree shaking. I'm like, that's got to be another buck. And at this point, when I turn myself to look on the opposite side of the tree, I'm staring at this 8-pointer who snuck in underneath me and was 10 yards away from me and didn't even, I mean, I don't know, he could have been standing there looking at me like, look at this idiot in the tree. And
I think he would have been out of there if that was the case.
Yeah, that didn't have happened. If you guys watch the video, that deer just kind of cruised.
He walks right
feeding
under
on
him.
some
Yeah, I mean, he
acorns,
walked
stood
literally
there,
right
gave him a
underneath
quartering away shot like 20 times. And,
I think he was sleeping and the camera just happened to be recording.
Yeah. And
That's why he didn't shoot.
behind this 8-pointer was this little 5-pointer that was back there roughing up the tree. And it just turned out to be a really cool morning. And I don't know why, but for some reason when I first saw that 8-pointer, I was like, oh, there's a buck. And I didn't immediately grab my bow. And for some reason I thought to myself, when I didn't immediately grab my bow,
You're just watching him.
I was just watching him. And I enjoyed the show that morning.
I've never had to talk myself into grabbing my bow. Have you guys?
I don't think so.
nah,
It's always just
it's
happened.
instinct.
It's like, boom, you get that feeling and you're...
When I see a doe,
You grab your bow.
You just never know. I mean,
Yeah.
especially during a rut.
Yeah,
you know,
you're
that thing's
right.
there. She looks back. I mean,
You don't want to be
I-
caught with her at 10
I don't
yards and trying to
wanna
get your
be
bow.
sitting there with 5-6 deer feeding out in front of me.
I made that mistake on
especially
my...
when you're self-filming. I
Kentucky.
mean,
Yeah.
when you're
You gotta have
self,
You gotta
bow
be
in.
ready.
you better be ready. So.
So Greg, you
You're after Mack Truck
you
Daddy.
might have a big Mack truck tire tread, blood stain.
Whatever you guys want to
Yeah.
You might have him on opening day.
You might have him to go after. Tim has a few bucks that he's going to be going after. We didn't really talk about what I'm going to be doing.
Yeah, we talked about blades,
Yeah,
so
we
I'm-
talked about blades.
Let's get into you, Tom.
Yeah,
You,
real
oh,
quick,
of
we'll-
all people.
Yeah, we'll get into me. I have.
We recorded this podcast 2 weeks ago and it screwed up, but since then you've picked up about 27 shooters.
I know.
So it might be literally 27 shooters. I haven't went back.
Can't
and
figure out which deer is which yet.
I don't know which one I want to shoot. There's all types of bucks, but this
We're
year,
still going after Happy.
Happy is probably, for Southeast Pennsylvania. Yes, Happy is right now the main hit lister that I'll be.
I'm convinced
going
he's an
after.
older deer.
I'm pretty sure that he is too, because last
I think
year
we tried to talk about this in podcast 7 and take
Yeah.
1 and 2.
Yeah, we definitely did. So like
I
Happy,
think he's an older deer.
we just put a post out on Instagram about Happy, and a lot of people came back 3.5, 4.5 years old, which the picture that we posted.
It's what you would think, I believe.
It definitely looks that way. It's not the greatest angle. I have other photos of this deer that might tell you otherwise, but he's standing by himself. There's really nothing to judge him to. He's a big, huge
He is a really big deer with
body
other
deer.
deer
Take a
with
look
him.
at his head. His bases on his antlers are gigantic.
I think he has like 6 or 7 inch bases.
His bases at the pedicles are amongst the biggest, if not the biggest,
Gotta
I've
be
ever
Bud
seen.
Light size.
They're huge, yeah, no doubt. They're bottom of the bottle that's in my hand right now.
So, last year he actually was. His time length was a lot better last year. And this deer never. I don't think this deer ever would have scored well, which it really doesn't matter.
Well,
He's a
that-
mature deer.
If his time length was longer last year, that could lead you to believe that he's on his downhill side.
Yes,
I
that's
mean,
what makes me believe that he might be a little bit older and he's on his decline. So, which puts you around 6, 7, 8 years old,
Bad
anywhere in
year.
that, bad year, whatever. But I'd have to say he's over the hump for sure. But the only way we're gonna find out is if I put an arrow in him this season.
And that's just one deer on one of the properties. So.
Yeah, and my other properties that I hunt, I have some really nice looking bucks.
Yeah.
So I just sent these guys a bunch of texts over the weekend. I
just pulled camera
some
cards.
camera cards, and I had some food plots planted. The one food plot was a leftover from last year. I did a mix of big buck binge, and I planted clover at the same time. So when the big buck binge, which is it's a mixture of turnips and rapeseed. Once that, that's an annual, so that's gone. So the clover would come up next spring. So I really wouldn't have to maintenance this food plot besides spraying or whatever. But that's besides the point. The clover's coming up great, and we have a trail camera set up on it. And from the whole month of August, just about the whole month of August, and the end of July, just about every night, there's probably 2 or 3 buck that are pushing Pope and Young in there every single night. And it's unbelievable. On this property, I've never had deer like this using food plots like this ever. Last year I designed this food plot to be I wanted a lot of cover. I wanted to be able to hunt this food plot, and I wanted bucks to be able to use this food plot without feeling endangered or that they.
So they feel safe on the edges.
Safe,
it's like
safe.
an inside corner, kind of.
Yeah, it's an inside corner, and actually there's 2 sections of white birch trees. That is kind of an island of white birch trees, and I went around both of those trees, and then we have planted pine trees when I was a kid, 12 years old. We planted pine trees. Now they're like 10-foot, 12-foot tall pine trees.
That's awesome.
So they're right next to this food plot. And plus, I decided this year that, instead of mowing this field, I'm going to leave it grow. So this grass is 3-4 feet high.
Nice screen.
Yeah, good screen. Like, you cannot see this food plot until you get in it. So you'll never
the
know
deer
there's
love
a
it.
food plot there. So when you get there, you could you can be 30 yards away from a buck. You'll never know it until you step foot into the food plot.
Yeah. So the deer feel super safe,
Yeah,
which is great.
That's key. I mean, when you can get, lots of cover around a food plot, I mean, the deer are going to feel super safe being in there.
Yeah.
So
It's hard to get them there in daylight, but when you have that,
Right.
And we've
Definitely.
planted food plots in these fields before, but they've always been like in the wide open. And during late October and November, yeah, we'd get big bucks in there. But
just checking them for does, and
yeah,
probably mostly at night.
I've never had pictures of deer during summer of this caliber. And, you get your 6-pointer, 8-pointer, little small 1 to 2-year-olds. But for the most part, I'm excited about it, and I have other deer on cameras. Like you said, there's probably 27 of them. So I'm excited for this season for sure. Just got to pick one out. I'm not going to say I'm going to hunt one in particular, but my goal this year is going to be 120 plus. So I haven't really been consistently doing that ever in my hunting, quotations career. That's what
I can't wait to follow you this season because you don't have the one to go after.
Yeah,
so it's going to be interesting to see with 5 or 6 of these buck around what you're going to do.
I
in the
probably
tree
won't
stand.
be too choosy. That's for sure.
And we're going to Ohio too, so
Oh.
if you fill your tag before Ohio,
Ohio's
watch
game
out.
on. Game on. So yeah, that's about my season. How what's happening right now currently, and then shortened up version. I could really get into some detail with it. But other than that,
I think we're all kind of laying off now because it's getting so close to the season. We're only 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
I'm not checking that in-trail cameras until I actually go.
We're 3 weeks away from early season opening, which for us, what area are you, Tom?
I'm in 5D.
5D. We're 5C. That we can hunt. I think we all can hunt early. We all have properties that we can hunt early.
Well, I hunt game land. So
Yeah,
I
public
have
land
no
and
pub-
early, so
I have no private land in 5C.
in
but
3 weeks it opens in the special areas down here for us.
Yeah.
And we're all
could
kind of
go
laying
down
off.
on that day.
He
That'd
could.
be awesome.
And I should be there with you, but we're not going to get into that because Tom will get upset and
Yeah, I'll walk away.
Wives will get upset. We don't
wives
wanna-
get mad. I have a wedding that I guess I kind of got to go to.
Stop.
Anyway,
So
chances are.
we're gonna wrap this thing up here, guys, and we have a big announcement that we've been really trying to get this out there for you guys.
Way earlier than we
Yeah.
are now, but
And we apologize for the inconvenience of doing that to you guys, but
drum roll, please.
yeah. We have a big winner of the grenade from Wynscent. They were so generous to donate to us to give away. So our winner is Justin Cole, and congratulations, Justin, for
Go Justin.
participating in our giveaway in our contest, and for everybody else that participated in the contest, we thank you. Please keep following us, share
Yeah,
our
there's
page.
Good chance
like
we're
it.
going to be getting some other prizes out here soon too.
Yeah, if you participated, there's a good chance you're a winner.
You're going to get a message,
Yeah.
and we'll probably ask for an address. So
So
keep that in mind. But
thank you,
congratulations
guys.
to you. Use it this year. Thank you for listening. Thank you, Greg and Tim, for coming and hanging out tonight.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
thanks, guys. That was it was a lot of fun. I
Hope we can
really
do that again.
I enjoyed it. I'd love to do it again. And
I love
some of
talking
us
deer
live so
hunting.
far away, Tom.
Hey, man.
But once the season
traffic
starts,
gets
we're really
free.
going to struggle. Actually,
Tyler.
the first person to shoot a deer we're doing this because we're all getting together.
I'm down with that. We have
So-
to get together.
Well, yeah.
The first person to shoot a deer, we're getting together. We're gonna podcast that night. We're gonna go live on Facebook.
Yeah.
We're gonna bring it all.
The deer will be in the middle.
He's gonna be in the video.
in the video.
Buck or doe or just buck?
We're gonna say first
Uh,
box.
Alright,
say
first buck.
first buck.
First buck. First buck.
And I hope
Nothing
it's in
against doe
Ohio,
hunting.
so Tim has to drive from Illinois back to Ohio.
Yeah, that'll be good.
But anyway, guys, like us on Facebook, Instagram.
Subscribe on
I don't even think we have a
YouTube.
Twitter account.
We don't have a Twitter. I don't use Twitter. I don't know if anybody else does, but
One thing I want to
Instagram.
say is, guys, help me out. I do the Featured Hunter Friday on Instagram.
oh yeah, Featured Hunter
Definitely
Fridays.
give him a hand.
We've
send
talked
your
about it a little bit.
submissions in. I know they talked about it before. Give us 4 to 5 pictures and a paragraph about yourself, where you're from, what you love. What
We
you
just
do
like
in
to
your
share
free
people
time.
from different areas. So.
Yeah. So show us who you are. We'll get you out there. We'll get you on Instagram. We'll put you on our Facebook page, and let people know who you are.
Shoot us a message on any of our social media. Comment on our YouTube if you want to do that. And
And definitely take a look at our shirts, and we got awesome shirts that Cole and his wife have been slaving
Yeah.
making. So take a
well,
look.
we're making some shirts, and the coolest thing about it is they're 100% customizable.
Yeah.
You can pick any color shirt and any color logo, and we will make them for the very low price of about $15. And if you need it shipped, it might be a little extra, but reach out to us if you want a shirt. We got some new ideas too even going on. I just posted up today with some stuff on the back of the shirts.
Yeah.
Whatever. Look for our apparel, our shirts. We got hats coming. We have die cut decals for your trucks, for your bow cases, for your coolers, for your fridge, for your kids,
Cameras.
whatever you want. Cameras.
Yeah, guys, so just keep following along, and we're doing this for you. So just do us a favor, like it, share it, and have a good night. And we'll see you on
Thanks for
podcast
listening.
number 8. Thanks for listening.
And if
Good
you're
luck.
listening on YouTube, we're coming to iTunes soon.
Yeah. And good luck this season. Hopefully everybody
Good luck this season.
gets a shot at the giant tree buck.
Peace out.
Peace.